You know, I absolutely have to be one of the most blessed men in the entire United States. I get to travel across 11 southern states, sampling some of the great fishing that our region has to offer. On this week's episode, you get to come along as we explore a little lake in eastern Oklahoma that's loaded with bass. Glad you're here. It's going to be a great half hour. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Morning in the Kiamishi Mountains of eastern Oklahoma. Calm, clear, cool morning. Beautiful scenery all around, and the fish are a-jumping. What could be better? Hey everybody, welcome to the show. So glad you're along this week for our first visit in a couple of years to one of my favorite little fishing lakes in the entire state of Oklahoma. Right now, I'd like to welcome you in to beautiful Pine Creek Lake. It's situated about halfway between Broken Bow and Antlers, Oklahoma. There are a lot of species of fish in here, but on today's show, we're going to take the Bass Tracker Pro Team 175 out, do a little scouting around and see if we can find and catch some bass. We'll show you this great destination, a few techniques that will work here, and whatever else we find out there. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for some fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters, lakes, rivers, and bays close to you for this week. So right now, we get the boat launched into Pine Creek Lake. We get it all started with your weekend planner back at the studio.
Hi everyone. Overall, the fishing outlook for the weekend looks to be a little better on Saturday. The Salooner tables are indicating that peak daylight game fish activity will take place on Saturday beginning at 2:48 in the afternoon. Look for the sun to rise at 6:56 and set at 5:27. And we just had a new moon on Wednesday, so evenings will feature a crescent moon that is only 9% visible. We'll be right back with freshwater and coastal fishing updates from around the region. Plus, professional angler Keith Combs stops by for this week's Ask the Pro feature.
There's one. Come up and jump. Got a little something working here. What have I got? Oh, good fish. Give up. There we go. There is a little toad right there. Boy, he swallowed my little shaky head rig. I'm gonna have to get the pliers out after him. All right, well, let's get things started here by giving you a little bit of the lay of the land here. Pine Creek is basically just the little river that runs down through the middle of the lake, and it's got lots of ditches, creeks, drains, and draws running into the river. So you've got two choices. You can fish those little ditches or drains, or you can fish along the river. Now you can see right in front of me here, there are a lot of little rock points that come out into the river, almost look like riprap. And you can fish those. There's a steep side to the river and a shallow side, and you've got to do some experimenting around to find out where they are on any given day. All hardwood bottoms around here. The lake is about 8 to 10 feet low. My understanding is they're doing some repair work on the dam, so the lake's been low for quite a while. There's a good bass for you right there. We're gonna let that fish go back right here. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
Hey, welcome back everybody on Pine Creek Lake in Oklahoma today. Catching a lot of small, largemouth bass. Oh, that's a spot. All right, I finally got me a spotted bass. Oh man, look at the belly on that little spot, will you? That is really cool. Look how fat he is. Short, stocky, healthy little rascal like that. What a cool fish. That's a blast. Back he goes. I'll tell you that we're using finesse tactics today. And The reason that I've done that, and you need to take this into account wherever you fish, you need to match what the fish are doing. They're chasing around some little baits about 1.5 inches long. They look like a herring, some kind of a long, skinny minnow. They're not the big, fat, wide shad like you normally see bass feeding on in this part of the country. Little small herring, and so I downsized my baits and immediately started getting bites. So take that into consideration. Match the hatch. Figure out what the fish are feeding on. See what you see flicking around at the surface. See if you see any dead ones laying around the shoreline or floating up to the top, and try to match your bait to about that same size. You'll get bit a lot more. All right, we're up in the Little River in Pine Creek right now. Right now, we're not doing anything fancy at all, just fishing right along the shoreline of the main river channel. Let's get you some fishing in Lakewood for you from where you live.
Hey, on cloudy, dreary days this time of year, I like to think clear water lakes like Arbuckle, McGee Creek, Broken Bow, in this case 10 Killer. That's where I went. Now, I fished mostly the mid-lake area, kind of stayed in the Carlisle, Sizemore, Cookson Bend, as far south as Chicken Creek area. And what I found was the water temperature was still in that lower to mid 60-degree range, which is warmer than typical for this time of year. Saw a lot of shad activity, but the shad is surprisingly tiny, and they were in the open water areas, mostly in the middle of those pockets and creeks back in those areas that I mentioned. I did see some white bass busting in those schools of shad. I was able to catch them by tossing a jigging spoon in there, popping it back across the top. I was also able to jig up some white bass on top of ledges in the mouths of some of those areas, about 26, 28 feet deep. Case of bass fishing, it was slower than I expected. Caught several small spotted bass. I only caught one little smallmouth. I saw some bigger smallmouth busting in about 25, 30 foot of water. Was not successful in making any of them bite. Crappie fishing, I caught several. The crappie actually were biting pretty good. Mostly white crappie, a couple of blacks. Most of them were small, 8 to 10, 11 inches long, 14 to 16 feet deep. Most of them came on a little 1.25 inch Bobby Garland 80-bit slab slayer, brand new bait, electric chicken color. You had to have deep water close by, 22 to 26 feet. You had to have some shad activity around there to catch those crappie. You know, I wish I could have caught some of those big old smallmouth I saw busting for you, but I know you can't catch them if you don't go.
There's another one. There is another one. They are loaded in there. Good grief. Oh, big one. That's a good one there. Easy, darling. Easy, darling. All right, there's another chunk. Man, we are wearing them out now. This is a lot of fun right here. All right, there's one more big largemouth for you from Pine Creek. I want to give you some information right here. If you want to come do some of this, Jerry Waltall runs a guide service here. I believe it's Four Seasons Guide Service. We'll put his information up on the screen. That fish goes back, and you can give him a shout and come catch some of these fish. Pine Creek is loaded with it. If you'd like to make a trip over here, it would be well worth your time. Stay tuned, we're coming right back. Swimming sideways. Got him. Come up and show yourself. Oh, jump. Must be a pretty good one. There he is. Good fish. He'll jump now. Largemouth. There we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Pine Creek Lake, Oklahoma. Beautiful Kiamishi Mountains of eastern Oklahoma. Caught that one on a little lead head with a worm on the back. Cool little fat largemouth. I want to show you something. The mouths of these little ditches and creeks are keyed. So what I've done here, in fact, I'll kick the nose around and show you, but I've pulled up into the mouth of a little creek that feeds into the main river channel. So as I swing around, you'll see the main river is here, Little River, runs for miles. And then as we swing here to the left, that's a creek. So at the intersection of that creek and the main river channel is right where that fish was, thrown right up on the bank and dragging it off. By the way, that doesn't only work here at Pine Creek. Anywhere, particularly in these fall months upcoming and even going into cold weather months, You find these intersections where you've got a deep ditch or a deep creek that intersects a main channel of some kind, that's going to be a natural feeding point for largemouth, spotted, and smallmouth bass. So, little key for you right there. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hi folks, and welcome to Lone Star Lakes. This week brought to you once again by the good folks at Hitch It Safe, providing peace of mind and security for everything you tow. Now this week we're going to talk a little bit about power plant lakes because there's been some rumors that many of these may be shutting down or going offline. I talked to the authorities at all of the major power plant lakes in the Texas area, and they all said the same thing. While they may be closing some parts of some facilities for maintenance and upgrades, they will be online and generating power this winter. Now that means that the power plant fishermen at lakes like Monticello, Welsh, and of course Squaw Creek will have some warm water to fish. What you do at those lakes is going to depend on how much warm water we get, and we won't know that until we get to those winter months. However, they'll all fish more or less the same. That is, if you're fishing away from the hot water outlet, you'll fish your typical winter patterns for bass, using jigs and pigs, 10, 12-inch worms, fishing slowly, and trying to catch those lethargic cold water fish. However, if you do have good hot water outlet and warm water, you'll want to fish your moving baits, like your Senkos, your spinner baits, your rattle traps. That'll work on lakes that are generating power this winter. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Hitch It Safe, made right here in the USA. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, it seems anglers will have a choice this week and the weeks to come. It's what we call pick 'em. Either hide from the wind or wait for a warmer day. Winds seem to be a companion we will have to deal with, so find your hidey holes and protected shorelines. Plus, temperatures are getting more serious about cooling off. That means anglers may want to pick the warmest day to fish. Now is the time to regularly monitor weather forecasts, as north winds will blow bait out of upper coast marshes from Sabine to West Matagorda. It will also blow water out of the bays all the way to South Padre Island and Port Isabel. Now, if winds allow, fish the birds and fish the edge of channel drops. Trout and reds will be under the birds with flounder on the drops. Look for fish to start to make a serious move toward mud and shell bottoms as things cool off. On the middle and lower coast, the intracoastal waterways, secondary channels, and ship channels are all good options. This weekend, Saturday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. This Sunday's a 3 tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
I'm watching some fish suspended on my graph right here. I'm looking at my Lowrance Elite 7 chirp sonar, and I see the fish up off the bottom. So what I'm doing right now is just drifting out here off the river ledge and letting my bait go about halfway down and just shaking this drop shot rig. Trying to watch where these fish are, and they've come up higher in the water column. That's a good largemouth right there. All right. Well, we got them going now. Pine Creek largemouth bass and spotted bass mixed up in here. Hey, you just adapt to what the fish are doing. Don't just blindly keep doing something that's not working. If it's not working, try something different. And I stopped catching them off that shoreline, and so I just backed off and started looking, and sure enough, those fish had come up off the bottom and they're looking up at bait. They're not laying on the bottom, laying about 10 feet under the surface, and just started shaking that drop shot right in the middle of that group of fish. Nice largemouth bit it right there. Stay with us. We are coming back for more Pine Creek bass fishing in Oklahoma.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're still on Pine Creek Lake today. I want to tell you something. We've gotten ourselves up into an area of the little river here where there's a lot of fish up turning the top, chasing shad on top. And I don't know if we can actually get any shots of this or not, but they're really scattered around everywhere. And we've managed to catch quite a few of those, and they're all about 10 inches long. So what we've done now is moved out onto the river channel, out a little bit deeper, and I'm trying to fish underneath those fish. And I've actually caught a couple of better fish. Here's a bite. I've caught a couple of better fish fishing down deeper underneath the schooling fish. He's got it. There we go. Oh yeah, see, that's a better fish right there. Exactly what I'm talking about. Nice largemouth. There we go. When you're out chasing schoolies, and they'll school in the fall, as the water temperature begins to cool off, the fish will definitely move up on top and start chasing shad, chasing all kinds of bait fish actually. And many times, if you'll go ahead and just fish a little deeper, try to ignore those schoolers on top and fish down a little bit deeper, you can catch a better quality fish. All right, we've got something working here. There are fish busting all over the place in here. But again, I think it's the small ones, so you've got to set your mind to ignore those. All right, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana Outdoor Report. I tell you what, Captain Kevin's off duck hunting today. Yes, that's right. The western part of the state duck season is on right now, which means when you go to the lake this morning, you ain't gonna see near as many boats out there because most of the guys, they're out there duck hunting. We do have 2 or 3 boats ourselves, though, that's out there, and they're doing good. Remember, the flounder run is on right now. Especially if you do good tide, good north wind, them flounder are stacked up along the ship channel, you can catch yourself a good mess of nice Louisiana flounder. I tell you what, as far as the bass season goes, remember, a couple of weeks ago we got a tremendous amount of rain. That messed up like the Calcasieu River, Sabine Rivers, and a lot of the rivers, the Red River. A lot of these are messed up. By that I mean it's off color. Fishing's slow. Yeah, you can catch a few fish, but I wouldn't go to it. Maybe if we get a good north wind and it pushes that black water out for the backwaters and it starts to beat this muddy water, that's what I'd throw a spinnerbait and probably do pretty good. As far as places like, say, Toledo Bend, any of the big lakes, don't care where you live, the water should be up a little bit. That means the bass are prowling in that new water, as we call it, where the green grass was. That's where all the minnows get. Them bass are up there. Right now, on most of the lakes, you can catch bass either shallow or deep. So if you want a Carolina rig, you're going to catch it. You want to get up there with a spinnerbait in the shallow water and a little topwater bait, you can catch them early and late.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment where viewers get expert insights from professional anglers. This week's question comes from Paul, who asks, what lure colors work best in murky water? For the answer, we checked with Bassmaster Elite Angler Keith Combs.
Really, my top 3 colors for muddy water, I'm always going to have something based in white, especially if I'm throwing a moving bait, spinnerbait, crankbait, something like that. I'm always going to have a shad pattern. And I'm always going to have something in a crawfish pattern, like a red or brown, and then the old standby, black and blue.
Thanks, Keith. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a brand new pair of sunglasses.
This week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest is Brett Mills of Fritch, Texas. He is showing a 59-pound blue catfish. He caught at Lake Tawakoni in Texas. In fact, he caught 2 59-pounders back to back. If you'd like a chance to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Right inside of the front page is the Costa Catch of the Week area. Click in there, follow the instructions, and you could win a free pair of Costa sunglasses like our winner does on this week's show. If you want to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, go back to the front page of our website, click on the Costa logo. You'll see all of the frame and lens styles there, including the beautiful frame style I was wearing on this week's show called Harpoon. On the Academy Right Stuff feature, here are the 2 techniques that we used to catch all the bass you saw us catch at Pine Creek this week, plus many, many more that we couldn't show you. We caught over 100 bass on this trip, on this one day. The first technique was swimming a lead jig head with a Jean LaRue tattletale worm on the back of it. It's a very simple technique. You let it go to the bottom, you swim it up with your rod tip, and you let it fall back, and that's when they would strike it. The other technique is a drop shot. It begins with a drop shot weight at the bottom. 18 inches up the line is a standout hook. Here's the key with that hook. Every time you put pressure on the line, it makes the hook stand out horizontally, and it makes the worm lay horizontally in the water column, giving those fish every chance to strike it. It worked great today. If I walked up to you on the street, stuck out my hand, introduced myself, and asked you what you do, you would most likely tell me what you do for a living, where you work. Our American identity is all tied up in what we do for a job. But I'm here today to tell you that you are much more than where you work. Your value is much more tied up in your giftedness, your talents, the fact that you are someone's husband or someone's wife or father or mother or someone's child or someone's best friend. You have unique talents and gifts all your own. And you have value because there's a God who created you, who planted that in you before you were born. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time someone asks you what you do, try to figure out something else to tell them about yourself other than what you do for a living. I hope you enjoyed our trip today to beautiful Pine Creek Lake, located in eastern Oklahoma between Broken Bow and Antlers. I want to put up the guide information one more time. If you'd like to come here and catch some of these bass, Jerry Waltall will bring you out. He's with Four Seasons Guide Service. He'd love to put you on some of these bass. Hey, don't forget that we'll be on next week at our regular time, 10:30 p.m. Thursday, with the repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. And don't forget, you can always catch our latest episode on the front page of our newly designed mobile-friendly website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. It'll resize correctly whether you're looking at it on an iPhone, Android device, tablet, or full-size desktop PC. And you can always see the past episodes of our show by clicking the archive button just below that. And you can go back to the front page, click on the how-to button to see lots of product and how-to videos that we don't have time for here on the television show. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter feed. The address you see on your screen. We give away lots of free gear, plus put up lots of fishing photos, fishing news, and videos that we don't have time for here on the show. And like us on Facebook at our Facebook page at this address. Again, get lots of fishing news that you'll never see here on the show. From beautiful Pine Creek Lake, Oklahoma, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.